Hey guys, so we are like 3 weeks away, I want to say, for Dokkan's 10th anniversary. This will be the first anniversary that is celebrated by both versions at the same time. The sync that they announced, what was it, like August 2023 is finally done. And so yeah, every single celebration now moving forward, every single character will all drop at the same time on both versions. This to me is going to be the biggest celebration ever. And I think even if it wasn't shared, it would also be the biggest celebration ever, just because of how big the magnitude of a 10th anniversary actually is. Going all the way back, I think it was the 8th anniversary fan meeting. They were talking about how they have like a roadmap planned all the way until the 10th anniversary. So it just seems to me, based on how they were talking about the 10th anniversary and their plans for the game leading up until the 10th anniversary, it kind of sounds like they set the 10th anniversary as this, like, not really finish line, because obviously the game is not going to end after the 10th anniversary, but the 10th anniversary was seen, I guess, by the development team as like this biggest milestone that they could possibly get to. So I think this anniversary in particular is going to be special. I would say up until now, the 7th anniversary kind of just felt the most special. The 9th anniversary was insanely good, but there was just something different about the feeling of the 7th anniversary that just felt more special. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree with that, but the 7th anniversary just had like a very special feeling to it. And I think the 10th anniversary is going to find a way to replicate that feeling. So I am going to introduce a concept for the 10th anniversary. This is mostly just going to be not my predictions, but what I would want to see out of a 10th anniversary. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with everything that I say here, so obviously let me know if you agree or disagree with these ideas here. But I will just preface this concept by saying that I am being very, very ambitious. I don't think they're going to be able to fulfill all these ambitions that I have, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, I think this is going to be a very special anniversary. First time we're going to be sharing an anniversary between Global and JP. They clearly have set the 10th anniversary as a goalpost for themselves. And I think this is really, especially now that we know that they're essentially redoing, like the update that we're about to get. Remember, they showed the update off during the Daima, Goku, and Glorio reveal, Dokkan producers letter. That update that we're getting, which I think should be this week or next week, it's really overhauling a lot of the overall UI and feel of the entire game. So it almost feels like they're renewing the game. And I don't know. This is really a turning point, I think, for Dokkan, and this I think is going to be the biggest celebration ever. So before we get into it, I just want to say it's been a long time since I've done Dokkan celebration concept. I used to do these for worldwide celebrations because they were the biggest celebrations that were shared between Global and JP at the same time. It's been a while since I've done one. I used to do actual like full-blown kit concepts for characters. I am not going to do that here. This is mostly just going to be me discussing the character selections, not actually what they're going to be doing, but I will give a few ideas as we go through this. So I think there's going to be the standard 3 parts plus countdown and EX to the 10th anniversary. So the countdown should start pretty soon. Like, we're going to be starting the countdown celebration maybe like a week and a half leading up to it, maybe like 10 days before the actual beginning of the celebration. So somewhere around like January 20th, something like that, will be the beginning of the countdown. And then we're going to have part 1, part 2, part 3, and then the EX part, which last year, actually, I don't think Global actually had an EX part, but the EX part on JP was what introduced the EZAs for fusing STR Vegito and physical Buuhan. So I think they're probably going to be following the typical JP schedule for the anniversary, because we're essentially just now on JP schedule on Global. So I think the theme, because they always do a theme for each anniversary, the theme for this anniversary is going to be Dragon Ball Z. They've very clearly been doing a lot of Buu Saga stuff. I think a lot of that is probably just a tie-in with Daima. We've started to get Daima stuff. We have Super Saiyan Goku. We have Glorios, the New Year's Dual Dokkan Fest for Daima. So I think a lot of the focus, probably post-anniversary, will be on more so Daima related. And I could also see them potentially even going to GT. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think a major focus being on Dragon Ball Z for this anniversary makes the most sense. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle is the name of the game. And as a 10th anniversary celebration, I think it fits the most for me. Dragon Ball Z is the most well-known of Dragon Ball series. So, all right, let's get into this. So the countdown part, there's not going to be new characters dropped for the countdown, obviously, but typically we do have EZAs for the countdown. If you guys remember back to the worldwide celebration during the countdown portion, we had an EZA for the LR Turles. And then before the 9th anniversary, we had an EZA for STR UI Goku. For me, we are going to be starting the countdown with EZAs for Kaioken Goku and Grade 8 Vegeta, the LRs from part 2 of the 7th anniversary. This might be a little bit out of order for some people. Mostly what they tend to do is start the year, the EZAs for the characters debuting in a year with the anniversary characters. So like, these guys were the part 2 releases for the 7th anniversary. They typically wouldn't do EZAs for these characters until we actually got the EZAs for the part 1 characters of the 7th anniversary. It's very obvious. I mean, spoiler alert, there's going to be the EZAs for the 7th anniversary in this. I mean, I don't think anybody's shocked by that. But I think just based off of the theme that I'm going for here, this makes the most sense. So we're knocking out the Saiyan Saga representation part of the anniversary with the countdown celebration giving us EZAs for the Saiyan Saga Kaioken Goku and Grade 8 Vegeta. Then we're going to head into part 1, and this is where we're going to get, obviously, the first summonable characters. So let's just scroll down here. So we're going to be going with Namek, Base, Goku, and Final Form Frieza. So these are going to be LRs, obviously. And I'm thinking we do, similar to how the 9th anniversary was, they gave the Dokkan Fest slot to the villain, and they gave the Carnival slot to the hero character. So Super Class character got the Carnival, Extreme Class character got the Dokkan Fest. I think these are both going to be transforming characters. So we do Final Form Frieza, who transforms into Full Power Frieza as a Dokkan Fest character. And then we do a base Goku into Super Saiyan Goku as a Carnival. This would be the beginning of, I think, a Z hero and Z villain categories. That's really what I'm trying to go for with this. So obviously the theme is Dragon Ball Z. We're going to be starting with the Saiyan Saga. We're going to be going on to Namek in part 1. You guys can kind of get the gist of where I'm going with this celebration so far. But I think them focusing a lot on Z heroes and Z villains is, I think that makes sense. There's enough Z heroes and there's enough Z villains. I will come back to the concept of Z villains, I think, at the end of this, because there is something I do want to mention about that. You could really make 2 really good teams here. There is an issue with the Z villain side. We'll get to it. So this was what I'm thinking for part 1, and then on top of that, we can get the EZAs for the worldwide celebration, LR Int Namek Goku and LR AGL Full Power Frieza. And the reason primarily why I made these guys part 1 as transforming characters is so that they could link up perfectly with these characters. I am not really the biggest fan recently of a lot of transforming characters, mainly just because the conditions that they set up for these characters usually aren't that great. But I really do like the way that they did Tech Broly. If you guys remember back to the worldwide celebration last year, when we got Tech Broly, his condition is literally just whenever you want to transform, he can transform. So I would really hope if they did do transforming characters here, either they make them able to transform literally whenever you want, or just make it like turn 3 start of battle. They can transform. I would have absolutely no issues with that whatsoever. And then, of course, you would be able to link them up perfectly well with the these guys right here. These guys are definitely due for an EZA. I think it would be pretty strange to me if we left the 10th anniversary without these guys getting their EZAs. So that's going to be part 1. We have these guys as the summonable characters, and then these are the main EZAs of part 1. Next, we're going to move on to part 2. We have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Perfect Cell, aka Super Perfect Cell, right? So this is Cell post him blowing up and reviving. It has been... Who was the last like big Super Saiyan 2 Gohan we got that was a standalone Super Saiyan 2 Gohan? Was it Int LR Gohan? I think that probably is, right? And then what about the last Super Perfect Cell? The last like standalone Super Perfect Cell, was it STR Cell? Super long time. I can't, because remember the Int one, the Int Cell revives, transforms into Super Perfect. He starts off as Perfect Form Cell. So, I mean, man, it's been a long time since the last Perfect Cell. And then same thing with Gohan. So I think having these guys just be standalone versions of these characters is perfectly fine. And again, this sort of goes in line with the whole Z Heroes versus Z Villains theme. And then for the EZAs of this part, I think they could go ahead and EZA the Exchange Goku / Gohan and the Transforming AGL Cell. These were Golden Week characters. I believe it was 2020... Was it 2022? Yeah, because this was 7th anniversary, right? Yeah. So these guys are actually post 7th anniversary, right? I think it's fine. I think they can do it. Exchange Goku into Super Saiyan Gohan, and then the Transforming AGL First Form Cell, who transforms into Second Form, but transforms into Perfect Form. And then you could obviously, once again, use these characters to link with the Part 2 units here. So typically, we would have Part 2 here, and then Part 3 would give us some EZAs, and then we jump into the EX part and we get some more EZAs, and we'd finish up with a lot of the content of the celebration. But this is the 10th anniversary. I think there is a chance they could give us more summonable characters. So in Part 3, I think they're going to do... Oh, by the way, I should also mention here, I would have... Super Saiyan 2 Gohan be the Dokkan Fest here, and Cell will be the Carnival. There's not really anything like, there's no rhyme or reason for that. I don't know. I think Part 1 Frieza being the Dokkan Fest makes more sense to me, just based on how they did the 9th anniversary with Broly being the Dokkan Fest, and then they just reverse the Super and Extreme class character getting that role in Part 2. So for Part 3, I'm going to have another 2 summonable LRs. Here's where Kid Buu and Super Vegito come in. Part 3, Carnival LR Super Vegito and Dokkan Fest LR Kid Buu. This I could definitely see people being a little bit upset at, just because 6 summonable LRs is certainly a lot. And I don't know what they're going to do for the structure. Remember, back to the worldwide celebration, the Broly worldwide celebration, they did give us the, what is it, like 1 character guaranteed, 1 copy guaranteed per banner with those green, I think it was green coins or whatever it was. I would assume they would bring that concept back for the anniversary. So if you have 6 summonable characters and you summon on all the banners, you could potentially get 1 copy as a pity for each banner. So it would really be actually better value that way, because you'd be getting more characters for quote unquote for free, or I guess through the pity system of each banner. I would imagine they bring that back. If they had it going for the worldwide celebration, I would be a little bit questionable. I would be very very curious as to why they would not bring that back for an anniversary. I don't know if I want to say I would assume it's coming back for every major celebration, but now that they did it one time for worldwide, I think it would be safe to say the chances are very high that they start doing that for every anniversary and every worldwide moving forward, that like 1 character pity, you can guaranteed get a copy of them. To me, it sounds pretty safe to assume that, but we'll see. But yeah, this is going to be a Part 3, once again, Carnival a Carnival / Dokkan Fest, where we have Kid Buu finally getting an LR as a Dokkan Fest LR, and then Super Vegito as a Carnival character. And then I think they would also probably just EZA the 7th anniversary LRs. This would make sense just because we're also getting a fusion here in part 3 as for Super Vegito here. And we have these guys are the fused fighter leader, right? I'm not exactly sure what they do with leader skills or anything like that, but it at least kind of fits with the fact that we're getting a Super Vegito in part 3. And then if we want to take a look at what I did for the EX part, I think they could give us super EZAs for the 3rd anniversary characters. So a super EZA for fusing Super Gogeta and a super EZA for fusing Super Vegito. These would be the first summonable LRs to get super EZAs. I guess there was a sentiment that people thought Broly, the STR LR Broly, was going to get a super EZA during the Broly Worldwide celebration, and they didn't do it. It could have been just because they wanted to give it to the OG, like the first Dokkan Fest TUR STR Broly. But there also is the thought that the first summonable LRs they want to give a super EZA to are going to be these guys. And I can definitely see these guys getting some during this part. If we wanted to go even further, we could say super EZAs for the 4th anniversary characters to help this character a little bit. I didn't put them in here, but that would be kind of interesting. Remember, these guys EZA'd at the same time as the 4th anniversary characters. They both EZA'd during the 7th anniversary. So it's not completely out of the question that they would get, that they wouldn't get super EZAs at the same time. But this is already, I feel like, pretty a lot. Like super EZAs for these two, we're getting, in total, we're getting 8 major EZAs, right? Because it's these guys, these are the first two. Then we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then super EZAs. So like 2 super EZAs and 8 major EZAs. That's a lot. But this is essentially the concept that I have. We're going through all of DBZ, right? And that's the theme that I created here. Is just Dragon Ball Z as the theme. So we have Saiyan Saga representation. We have Namek Saga representation. We have Cell Saga representation, then we have Buu Saga representation. There's a very clear lack of Super Vegito or any kind of Vegito throughout the entire, second half, or not even second half, just 2024 when they were buffing Buu Saga a lot. They buffed Buu Saga a lot in 2024. And we basically went through everything. We got Ultimate Gohan, we got Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, we got Super Saiyan 3 Goku. What else? We got Fat Buu. We got a Dokkan Fest Buuhan. We got EZAs for like 1 billion Buu Saga characters, right? I mean, take a look at all the EZAs. We're about to get EZAs for Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu. We EZAs for transforming Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Majin Vegeta. They didn't touch any Super Vegito characters, right? The last Super Vegito we got was the EZA for the STR1. That was last anniversary. So, no new summonable Super Vegito, I guess we could say. And then obviously Kid Buu, just laughable levels of neglection from the Dokkan team for 10 years. This guy, what do we have? 2 Dokkan Fests? We have the physical Kid Buu, who now has a Super EZA, and the Int Kid Buu. And then I guess the STR one too. That's 3. He has 3 Dokkan Fests and no LRs. Kid Buu. So, an LR is obviously needed. It's like it's a meme. Like he's actually just a meme at this point, considering it's been 10 years and we have no LR for Kid Buu, who is a major villain indeed. Like you think about the major villains in DBZ, and they're exactly who I put in this concept: Kid Buu, Cell, mostly just Perfect Cell, Frieza, Final Form Frieza / Full Power Frieza, and then Great Vegeta. Those are the 4 major DBZ villains. So the last thing I'll say before we wrap up is the Z villains hypothetical team. There would clearly be major issues with that team when compared to like the Z Heroes team. Like let's just think about a theoretical Z Heroes team. You have Super Vegito, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Namek Goku, Kaioken Goku just from the celebration. And then, of course, you have like every single version of Goku, Gohan, Trunks, Vegeta from Z that you can all put on this team, and they would all work essentially flawlessly together because they all link super well together. They all have the Saiyan link sets and everything like that. Now let's think about the Z villains team. You have Great Ape Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, and then Buu. How in the world would you get that team to work? They share like 0 links. They have like big bad bosses and fierce battle and legendary power, and that's it. Like all the other links are going to be like specific to Kid Buu, specific to Cell, specific to Frieza, and then like Saiyan links on Vegeta. So what I'm thinking they could do is they could potentially have, I don't know if I want to say one of these characters or maybe just all 3 of these characters have a domain. And what you could do with that domain is you could just add an effect on the domain. This is assuming they don't want to just like we're about to get a massive update. They could revamp villain links, just overhaul the entire concept of villain links, and that would mean that we wouldn't even need to be having this discussion. But assuming they don't just completely revamp villain links, what they could do is they could have like either Kid Buu, Frieza, or Cell have a domain effect, or each of them have a domain effect. And that domain effect would be if you have a character whose name includes Buu, Cell, and Frieza on the team that are in the Z villains category, the entire team gets like 50% attack and defense support. And that would sort of make up for the lack of links that you would have activated throughout the entire team. And the reason why I would have that condition on there is so that you wouldn't just be able to throw like a bunch of Buus together. Like if you had a condition where it was just like, if you have like a full Z villains team, then you would get that support active. That would just mean you could just run a full Buu team and then you just get the full thing active, which defeats the whole purpose, right? The whole purpose of the Z villain team is the whole team is conceptualized around running different Z villains together, not just running a full team of Buus or a full team of Cells or a full team of Friezas. You want to be able to have the flexibility to run multiple different types of Z villains together without feeling gimped because of the links and the way that they don't work with each other. So I think just having a condition in like some sort of overarching, it could even be in the passive, like of a Cell or a Frieza or a Buu, where as long as you have Z villains, one whose name contains Frieza, one whose name contains Buu, and one whose name contains Cell, the entire team gets a 50% attack and defensive buff and 3 key and whatever, right? And that could be a way to make up for the links, and maybe even have like, you know, randomly some type of orb change to rainbow at the beginning of every turn or something. Just a way to make up for the lack of the links. So that's what I'm thinking here, but this is essentially the concept I have, just going through all the major arcs of DBZ and giving us new versions of each of like the final battles here. You know, this would be a huge buff for like Battle of Fate. Would get like a massive buff. This is the Battle of Fate anniversary essentially, right? But I don't know if they would actually do 3 different parts of summonable characters, but we'll see. I think it's at least on the table. Legends does 3 parts to its major celebrations. We have part 1 with two releases, part 2 with 2 releases. Now part 3 is only 1 release, but I don't know. I feel like they could do this. I feel like for the 10th anniversary, I think they could do it. So let me know down below what you guys think of this concept here, and let me know what you think of just the fact of having all of the major final battles from each arc of Dragon Ball Z as the theme of the 10th anniversary. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.